Hi, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And today we're going to talk about presence and influence and the power that you have in how you show up. And this is part of our monthly mindset coaching series that we're working on in the martial arts school. So it is something that really doesn't get enough attention, or people really don't understand the distinction, but quietly shapes every part of your life. It's your presence and your influence and how they work together. So why do presence and influence matter today? It's because whether you're at work or at home with your kids or just standing in line at the store, out in the community, at an event, at a business event, people notice how you show up. And that choice, how you choose to show up, is what creates influence without saying a word. And how you show up, your presence is a choice. It isn't something you have to be, you can choose to be. So, who is this message really for? We're using this to teach our martial arts students how to own who they are and how their strengths and their skills. But this is also for the mom who feels like no one listens and she repeats herself all day long. But it's also for the professional who feels overlooked in meetings, and it's for the person who gives and gives but goes home at night wondering, why do I feel invisible? So, what's the difference between presence and influence? I want to make sure that we're clear about that presence and influence are not the same thing, but they are symbiotic. They do always come hand in hand. And presence is how you show up. It's your posture, it's your tone, it's your energy. Are you looking at people? Are you shying away? Are you walking confidently? Are you walking nervously? That is your presence, right? When you're asked something, how you answer. And your influence is what happens because of your presence. So it's the ripple effect that you leave on others. It could be their impression of you, but it can also be them tapping into your energy. So sometimes you'll hear people say influence equals to energy. And I talk a lot about the energy that you bring to the room, that you can elevate it by how you change your presence. But that is what helps you create influence. So in the martial arts school, we use this all the time when we're working. We have one belt color working with another belt color, and they're not sure that they should be, that their presence and their knowledge and their way that they demonstrate influences the student behind them. Same thing for the instructors. And a lot of you may have been in a meeting where someone that you didn't know walked into the room in a way that you're like, oh, I need to listen to them. And the inverse has happened, right? So they show up in a way that you're like, why should I listen to this person? That's the relationship that we're talking about. So why does this matter so much? And the simple fact is that if you don't own your presence, somebody else's energy will own the room. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but just recognize that it's a choice. So think about it. Your kids are constantly watching you. Your coworkers notice how you handle pressure. Your spouse picks up on your energy before you even say a word, right? Presence isn't neutral. It always influences. So if you don't choose it on purpose, you end up influencing by accident. And most of the time, that means passing along your stress, passing along your frustration or distraction without even realizing that that's what you're doing, right? Then we start taking on, why does this always show up for me? Not realizing that we are partaking in creating it. But here's the good news. If you do choose your presence intentionally, then your influence can be a gift. You can calm a room. You can inspire confidence. You can set the tone for your family or your team, or like just being in any group that you're involved in. And when you have that strong presence and you're calming and inspiring and leading, you're also demonstrating how to do it for others. Now, let's talk about when presence and influence matter the most. And honestly, it's not during the big, obvious moments like giving a presentation or leading a big meeting. Everyone expects you to show up strong for those, right? That's what everyone believes. It is the big end all be all. But the truth is, presence and influence matter most in the everyday, ordinary moments. Like when you walk through the front door after work and you've had a really, really stressful day and you're frustrated and you're overwhelmed, and you walk into the house, and of course, you see everything that's not right. And if you bring in that chaos, your family catches it, right? So you walk in already at that like frenetic level where everything's humming. You might, I don't know, I feel it always in my back of my neck. You walk in and then you see the things that might not be a big deal, but because of how you walked in, now they're a big deal, and then you explode, and then that sets the tone for the evening. But if you bring in calm, if you take a moment before you get out of the car and you decide to just, okay, let it go and walk in looking at home as a place of, okay, I'm home now, and you bring in that calm and that happiness to be home, then they're going to breathe easier, and you're going to see a difference in how the evening lays out. Or when your child makes a mistake and looks up at you, your presence, whether you are frustrated, calm, compassionate, influences whether they learn to hide or to grow. And when you sit down at the dinner table, if we're so lucky to do that during the week, and you're having a meal with your kids and half of your attention's on your phone, your presence is still influencing. It's just saying that other things are more important. And it teaches them that habit as well. But when you sit down and they set the phone down, and you look at them and have a conversation and show that you're truly interested in the answer, when you say, how was your day? And they give you the fine, and you ask follow-up questions, and you're not looking at your phone, or you're not looking at your watch, or you're not being distracted by the other things, and you're giving them your full attention, you're telling them that they matter, and that it's okay to put those things aside. And it's okay to separate yourself from those things every now and then. Even in the little spaces, like waiting in line in a room full of strangers, or showing up for a friend who's hurting, your presence either puts people at ease or it can make them tense. But here's the shift. It's not only the big once in a while moments that define your leadership. It's the tiny everyday ones that add up to who you really are and how you truly show up. Because influence isn't something you turn on and off. It's happening all the time, and your presence is shaping people by accident or shaping them on purpose. So here's the question I want to leave with you today. What kind of influence are you leaving right now? Because presence is the choice you make, and influence is the impact you leave. So, how are you doing it now? And if this has hit home for you anywhere, and you really are ready to learn how to shift your presence so that your influence is intentional and not accidental, I'd love to help. So if you're struggling to hold your own presence, or if you want to help your child grow their confidence or an influence, book a call with me. Let's talk about what's going on for you and your family and see how our programs can help with that. Martial arts is just one of the ways that we do that. We also have programs and coaching designed to help you and your kids build these skills in everyday life. And just know you don't have to figure this out alone. And you don't have to keep feeling like no one listens. Presence and influence are skills, and I would love to show you how to train them.